Hey ladies, this video is mostly going to be about talking on my decision on using a midwife instead of a obstetrician or resident doctor in the hospital. I watched two great movies. One of them is Pregnant in America. The other one is The Business of Being Born. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold too. So anyways, both those movies I watched on Netflix online. I have a subscription and it was instant watch on my computer. If you get a chance, watch the movies. They're really eye-opening. Talks about the whole hospital system and things like that with having a pregnancy and giving birth and labor and all that. But I'll quickly talk about my brother's experience with his child. And sorry I've not put pictures online, but my brother has requested that none of his baby pictures of his daughter go online at all. I have to respect his wishes. It's his child, and he just doesn't want the pictures out there for any child predators or things like that, which I understand. But she's super cute, super cute. She reminds me of Naturally Thrifty Mom's baby. She just put her baby up yesterday, I think, and she's super cute. Reminds me a lot of her baby. So, sorry. Anyways, my brother, when they were in the hospital, they really felt that their rights and their wishes were not being honored and things like that. And their baby was born a week early, and she wasn't in the NICU or anything. She acted fine. She was breastfeeding fine. Everything was going great until they did a car seat test, where in Connecticut, if you're under 37 weeks, you have to have a car seat test, sit in a car seat for an hour to see if you can breathe okay, and I guess she failed. My brother was like, okay, well, when are we going to retest? They told them, well, she needs to go into the NICU. And they are like, excuse me, what are you talking about? My baby was not put in the NICU right after she was born. She's eating fine. Can you explain what's going on? And I don't know if this was a doctor or who it was, but they're like, well, we'll have someone come in here and explain. So they sent in this woman. She was a really nasty woman. She was a nurse practitioner, I guess. And they said, okay, you need to follow me. Your baby's going to the NICU. My brother says, excuse me, I need to know what's going on with my child. She's like, if you don't bring your baby to the NICU, well, we're going to arrest you and we're going to call DCF. And he was like, no, excuse me, you need to let me know what is going on. So this woman went out and got some medical documentation, what was going on, threw it at my brother. So they were reading it and said all these things like baby may need a feeding tube, oxygen, all this stuff. So my brother and sister-in-law were freaking out, and I guess later on a doctor came and actually told them, no, your baby actually has been having trouble breathing this whole time, and we're concerned. She's not being able to regulate her own breathing, and we don't want to see her um, have the sudden death infant syndrome, which I guess happens a lot when babies are sleeping. So they said, well, that's fine, but this lady was nasty and threatening to call DCF, and it turns out she did call DCF, and the next day DCF called them. Oh my goodness, it was such a drama-filled 3 days, basically. So anyways, they were there for 2 weeks. She finally got to come home today. But they were just so annoyed because they would come in, take their baby, not tell them what they were doing, all these different things, and it was crazy. So I researched on my own, why is this happening? This is just doesn't make sense. And I came across those two movies I told you about, and everything was pointing to using a midwife. And what a midwife is a expert on childbirthing and labor. And it turns out there's a practice not too far from my house that has 5 midwives, and they deliver at a hospital nearby. So I looked into the practice and things like that, and I called them, and they said, yeah, if you happen to go into labor and the midwife who you've been using since the beginning of your pregnancy isn't available, you will be introduced to all of us, and one of us will come to your labor, come to your birth, stay with you the whole time, coach you through it, and honor your birthing plan. I thought, wow, that is awesome. They also said that they will be able to discharge you in a day rather than 2 or 3 if you're healthy and get the all like clear, good to go. So yeah, it was really an eye-opening thing. I was like, wow, that sounds really good. Really comforting to know the person that I've went through my whole pregnancy, prenatals and things like that, will be with me during my labor and birth. So that was really cool. But what I also learned from the movie is a lot of times that a midwife will also let you give birth in different positions. And apparently, which I didn't know this, you always see women give birth on their back. Well, apparently, according to both of the movies, it's the worst position you can give birth in because you're actually pressing down your pelvis, and I guess it's not expanding like it should, so the baby can come out easier. They say the best position actually is either on all fours, like your hands and knees, and squatting, or just squatting down, or sitting on a birthing chair, and it has like a hole in it, and then a midwife or a doctor will catch your baby. And I guess the reason for this, which it makes sense, gravity is pulled down, so the baby is pulled down to where it should be. And in addition, your pelvis will expand more since it's in a downward position instead of being laid flat down. So it'll expand more so the baby will come out and you will have a faster, easier, supposedly, birth. And who doesn't want an easier, faster birth? So I guess if you use a midwife, you can request if you're having a healthy pregnancy and everything looks good where you don't have to be hooked up to the IVs and monitors and stuff. They do something called a periodic monitoring where periodically through the labor they'll put monitors and things on you just to check to make sure your blood pressure is fine, the baby isn't under distress, you're not under distress, things like that. And the purpose of this is you can move around. They recommend actually walking when you're in labor is really good for you, and it can help again make the baby come down faster to give birth. That's if you can walk, if you don't take the epidural, which I'm also toying with that too. I'm a little scared about that though because it sounds really painful, the childbirth. I don't know if any of you ladies have had natural childbirth. Please let me know. And if anybody has had hypnobirthing or know anyone who's had hypnobirthing, I first heard about that from Michelle, TTC and Mini Mash. And I watched a couple videos of some women who actually have gone through it. And it looks really interesting to be able to control your pain through focusing meditation and things is really powerful. So I'm really interested in that. I think I might actually look into that. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious about what you ladies are going to be using. If you're going to be using an obstetrician or a midwife or things like that. But I guess in America, according to the movie, also C-sections are at an all-time high. I guess in 1970 they were at 7%, and today they're at 30. And the national average for safety is only 15%. In America is double that. That's ridiculous. And I guess the reason why that is a lot of doctors who are trained in surgery want to get women into surgery and will try to convince women, oh, it's been a little while now, your baby's under distress, so we could just get this baby out for you in 30 minutes and you won't have to go through this labor anymore. Well, there's been a lot of unnecessary C-sections and things like that. So my mother has had C-sections and things like that, and I want to really try to avoid that. I mean, C-sections are major surgery, and the recovery time is a lot longer than when you have a vaginal birth. So, I don't know. It's a lot to think about, and I know my family thinks I'm crazy for some of the things I've been researching, but I really like to keep myself informed and learn from other people's experiences. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if what you guys are using, or if you have any questions for me about the midwives and things like that, let me know. But I just wanted to bring this useful information to you guys. And if you have a chance, watch those two movies. All right, I will talk to you later. Thanks, ladies. Bye.